Hello, thank you all for watching. This is Manny Sunny Sun for an astrological report. We begin with Jupiter entering into the sign of Virgo. The reordering process for Virgo. Jupiter, the king of heaven, has just left the sign of the regal Leo and enters into the sign of Virgo, the Virgin, where he will be settling there until September of 2016. And his long conjunction that happened over the summer is with Venus, which one will complain? Which no one will complain. It ends with Jupiter and certainly favors awe and amplifies almost everything, and not always for the better. In conflict with Mars, it causes Jupiter here anger, and alliances with Pluto primarily benefit him with financial powers. Its proximity to Venus is often associated with great sense of gluttony. Jupiter in Virgo will go through many phases that are not always favorable. As always, in the smart astrology will practice this. He will ask how to use these best aspects for the best of his capabilities and what lies ahead. It amplifies our joys and also our sorrows, our loves and also our anger, our desires, our hopes, our fears, and our illusions. Always have in mind that this star, which provides and protects, represents mental development and beliefs through travel and study and philosophical ideas and spirituality. Jupiter, in all his phases, embodies a sense of justice, compassion. So, putting these two together, Jupiter and Virgo, well, the zodiac signs are the path of the stars, and those like the tireless travelers, they are influenced by their relief, colors, and peculiarities of the country they pass through. And it does not always change their first meanings, but changes their way of expressing themselves. Jupiter opposed to it would be very wrong to consider being in the fish there, and therefore the exile, a weak or in troubling times. While Jupiter and Virgo natives show brilliant minds, encyclopedic, able to order their mind, their existence of large strokes, philosophical brushes, able to maintain a broad and clear vision. The society in which they live, as well as the exploration, the more complex psychological problems. Virgo, of course, is a sign of the solar mercurial sign. Ideally, it's directed towards the mind and towards the quest for order, clarity, discernment, that is to say, towards the removal of chaos, that is the essence of our lives. It is the cerebral mercurial tendencies that may be amplified by Jupiter. And so this brings with him the nature and the master of his exaltation, Pisces, soaking up the analytical thinking mind and feeling and compassion altogether. Virgo the Virgin here, in this practical sense, the proverbial sign of medicine, healing. Jupiter, mental expansion, is a protector, whether this be on the individual level or on the humanity level. Jupiter in Virgo here encourages us to heal ourselves, to heal us, and through this, to heal the world. This is why learning, which is not in the deepest sense accumulate information and knowledge that we already have in abundance. And so, accumulation of information and knowledge, which imposes reading grids and to our minds through opinions, beliefs, and traditions that have been passed on through lifetime and all the experience of the past. So, to learn is to first understand. That is what happens with his memories, fears, prejudices is also constantly running in our lives, our choices and our destinies, that prevents us most of the time to be in creative self-reflection, original thoughts, and free individual. It is here, well, that to observe the chaos and the order within our own structure, mechanics of our own minds, that is the role of Virgo. Since all diseases, emotional, mental, physical, all these things is a disorder. Ideally, with Jupiter in the sign that really plays its role of protector and the healer, this requires an understanding of what it means to learn now. At every moment, realizing how much the weight of the past has clogged our minds and prevents us from solving violence, anxiety, selfishness, and self-destruction prevailing in each of us as they rule over the world. So we'll be speaking about the aspects happening here. And as I currently examine this Jupiter transit, it especially begins to form an opposition to Neptune and an aspect inharmonious with Pluto by the end of September. He will catch up with Mars and then a little faster with the 3 planets Venus, with a conjunction quite interesting and not easy, quote unquote, but one thing at a time. We will speak, and so let's see what the King of Heaven offers us within this placement. So Jupiter is will be conjunction with the Sun from mid-August to mid-August to September 10th. About always. It's an excellent time if you want to know and enjoy these configurations. It figures with expansion in all areas. Jupiter supports the implementation of these solar ideas. Ideas promoting mental expansion through study, travel, by propitious meetings, wise choices, different opportunities, and sometimes inexplicable flattening material difficulties, the favorable circumstances, and the chance to participate in the notion of optimistic mental attitude, believing in these abilities. It's often what's somewhat scary, judging correctly and naturally sharing and showing attachment, trust, and normally honesty and justice. It is well to be alert, to demonstrate loyalty, honesty, and nobility that monitors our opportunities, not to be afraid to commit to a cause, perhaps in some case at least serendipitous. Favorable aspects are for the whole planet, those who will continue to cultivate the art of attention and probably a bit of peace, justice, and why not spirituality, break the heart of their mind. So Jupiter will be squaring off to Saturn starting early July, and this aspect will remain active into mid-September of 2015. So read that aspect that I have done before. It's a video with Jupiter square Saturn and Jupiter entering into the sign of Virgo. And I also have a video named Jupiter opposing Neptune, Jupiter entering Virgo, also a separate video. That is it's active between August 11th until the last days of October. So see that in this video, on these videos on my channel, you'll find those. An application of emotions, psychic permeability, dreams, illusions, taste for the marvelous tend to be influenced by the atmosphere, the social environment, propaganda, and media. Easy to believe in a master, a cause, a political or religious ideology, identification to the oppressed, attraction of sacrifice, sensitivity to the collective suffering, and animal conditioning. Emotionally, longing for a world of love and justice, frequent excessive sentimentality, more or less consciously maintained. Exaggerated concerns are felt, relatives, friends, and even strangers. The lack of consistency of insufficiency focuses us to invite us to spread out, to confess, or to spill over, whether it be socially, mentally, physically. These threats of scandals in this key. Sincerity is confused with truth and love with sentimentality, a possible indolence, poor attendance of formal habits, and wasting talents of undeniable artistic abilities. Here, communion thirst joins with the pursuit of trance, a taste of music and dance, sometimes to alcoholism or drug addiction. Frequent attraction felt to the magical and symbolic ritual of prayer, devotion, faith, chants, collective emotions, that sort of thing. Possible borrows of dishonesty and guilt. Generosity is misdirected, threat of being stolen or suffering the unpleasant mishaps of inattentive and misplaced trust. So the hardest part is not to blind oneself, all these emotions of excessiveness. Sincerity is not a guarantee of reason and willingly needs to feed a self-illusory picture oriented towards the good, preventing questions. As always with Neptune here, the distinction between love, which is sufficient in and of itself, sentimentality marketed by fear and suffering, is very, very crucial. Sentimentality is responsible for the unjustifiable actions, especially if one believes sincerely and truthfully the act of good. Indignation may be only a superficial reaction to injustice. One way to define this is to feel virtuously and compassionately, and fill all this inner emptiness with the ideals of which Jupiter and Neptune, the master of the 6th and 12th house, the purification and philosophy with 6th house, with 9th house and 9th house with higher spirituality, and 12th house with purification of body, mind, and soul and spirit. So the combination of this to the authentic emotion, burning, not conditioned, but by the fear of suffering, free from lies, pretensions, and maintained by illusions about himself. So we understand the dangers of policies of this aspect that mixes up with empathy and negativity, the environmental influence and the sentimentality to consciousness. Pushing the broader community to poor choices through propaganda, illusions, and identification towards the illusory world. So to help Saturn, this Saturn that represents deep reflection, and Uranus that represents divine mind and intelligence, urges us to prevent us from emotional chaos takes over on the right or to the left. If the equilibrium is reached and strikes a balance, the alliance of mercurial principles through the sign of Virgo and Jupiter Neptunian inspirations will be at an all-time high. So Jupiter trines to Pluto the first days of September to early August of 2016. So the inclination to explore the darkness of the spirit in philosophical and liberating perspective, but also in search of power and possible immortality of the individual consciousness. Belief in the omnipotence of will and thought in matter, singular ability to inform, to justify the secret desires of obsession, activities or special circumstances that relates to threat of disease, working in hospitals, near death, or near-death experiencing, dying with a companion, positively confront the fear of annihilation completely, considered as a portal through that gate. So the personal philosophy that channels a search of sensations, the realism of tempers and faith, the ability to seize daily opportunities here and to extract favors from powerful people and organizations, to promote enrichment, material support, to obtain timely, providing the means to study, to travel, and to pursue his or her dreams. Although this trine to Jupiter trine Pluto, which will last about a year and more, this aspect is propitious. Combining these two stars, this draw still remains the watchword when it comes to Pluto, which is intrinsically linked to materialism and mental darkness. Search for order is also to share the fear of death and nothingness with Pluto. So as part of our inner motivations and unrelenting pursuits, here is responsible for the feelings of a large part of the destruction of the environment. So Pluto is required to play a positive role to destroy the fears and regenerate the mind. So thank you all for watching. This has been an astrological report. Hope you've take these precautions. I put 3 videos below that you would help to understand within a year of what will take place in this astrological report. So if you have any questions, I also do video consultations. Send me a link for additional information. Send me an email for additional information. I do that, and thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful year, and thank you.